And one of these key issues for me, and I think women across the country, again, especially women in low income and the marginalized, is this issue of getting access to safe abortion.
Donald Trump, in a range of polls, has about 40% or 35% range approval.
Harassed or abused and maybe assaulted.
It's a big issue. Everything that we know to have fought for in the past is up for grabs right now with this nominee.
Did you hear about Alyssa Milano's latest stunt? She's got Trump seeing red, literally. The actress showed up to protest wearing a bright red cloak, looking like she stepped right out of The Handmaid's Tale. But here's the kicker. Trump's not laughing. He's fuming mad, calling Milano a washed-up actress and a liberal nutjob. Looks like Milano's fashion statement hit a nerve. Want to know what happened next? Stick around, because this Twitter war is just heating up. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Well, folks, it looks like Alyssa Milano's taking a page out of Margaret Atwood's book.
I want you to think about the timing of this Supreme Court Justice nominee.
Block it.
So, don't you think it's a coincidence that while we have a president in office, who does he pick to be a Supreme Court nominee? Everybody needs to do one thing every day. Go in, call your representatives, try to block this man from being appointed on the Supreme Court. It will affect every single aspect of our lives.
And I don't know in any other court that would be permissible. Time and time again, I feel like we are entertaining the absurdity of this presidency.
And I'm not talking about a bedtime story. Milano showed up to her latest protest looking like she stepped right out of Gilead. But don't worry, she's not here to steal your babies or serve some creepy commander. Nope, she's got a bone to pick with our very own commander-in-chief, Donald Trump. Milano's rocking a red cloak that would make even the most devoted handmaid jealous. But this ain't no costume party, people. She's making a statement louder than Trump's tweets at 3 a.m. And let me tell you, it's got Trump supporters scratching their heads harder than they do when trying to understand basic science. But here's the kicker. Milano's not just playing dress-up for kicks. She's pointing out that under Trump's watch, women's rights are going backwards faster than his hairline. Did you know that since the orange one took office, there have been over 400 abortion restrictions implemented at the state level? That's more than in the entire previous decade. Talk about making America great again, huh? And Milano's not the only one joining this red-hot trend. Other celebs are jumping on the bandwagon faster than you can say under his eye. It's like a Hollywood remake of The Handmaid's Tale, but instead of Hulu, it's playing out on the streets of DC. But don't think this is just about looking pretty in red. Milano's using her fashion statement to shine a spotlight on some not-so-pretty policies. She's calling out things like the gag rule on abortion and those heartbeat bills that have about as much scientific basis as Trump's climate change theories.
Hi! Thank you so much for all being here.
Yes. These activists outside the entire festivities or rally or hearings.
And it's heartbreaking and it's sad, and I think we're feeling that in the courtroom with the protesters, and I think that we're really getting a glimpse into the corruption.
History has been made since Donald J. Trump was sworn in as the 45th President of the United States.
You're all still staring at me. Take a look at each other. We're looking. And I want you to realize that this right here, all of you, this is what democracy looks like.
Milano's message is clear. These policies are trying to control women's bodies more than Trump tries to control his comb-over in a windstorm. And let me tell you, that visual impact of all those red cloaks, it's like a wake-up call louder than the alarm clock Trump needs to actually show up to his intelligence briefings. Well, folks, it looks like Trump's finally found someone to play Twitter tag with, and boy, is he excited. Our tweeter-in-chief couldn't resist firing up his phone when he heard about Milano's red cloak rebellion. I guess when you're the president, you've got nothing better to do than pick fights with celebrities online, right? Trump's thumbs were itching for a fight, and he he didn't disappoint. His opening salvo? Calling Milano a washed-up actress. Real classy, Donnie. I guess when you're a reality TV star turned president, everyone else looks washed up to you. But Milano wasn't about to let that slide. She fired back with some zingers of her own, proving that she's got more fight in her than Trump has hair on his head. The whole thing turned into a real-life WWE SmackDown.
Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Everyone's favorite. Our president proudly posing with hundreds of hamburgers.
Feel and
well,
and
Alyssa,
that's
you
the
mentioned
third-
that. Let me put. I just want to put to your point some of that data on the screen for viewers. You mentioned Kavanaugh's support around 37%, and that goes into the next thing that we wanted to ask you about, which is activists have been protesting Kavanaugh. Some of them dressed up like the Handmaid's Tale costumes, and I know you did that as well. You posted a photo on Twitter. We saw with that novel why you're putting it in this perspective and why gender equality seems to be such an issue that people are concerned about in the context of Judge Kavanaugh.
Minus the muscles and plus a whole lot of typos. Trump supporters joined in, turning Twitter into a kindergarten playground where the main form of communication is name-calling and the occasional, I know you are, but what am I? It's like watching a bunch of toddlers argue over who gets the last cookie, except these toddlers can vote. But here's the kicker. While Trump thought he was landing some sick burns, he was actually doing Milano a favor. Every tweet he sent just amplified her message. It's like he was holding up a big neon sign saying, hey everyone, look at what Alyssa Milano's doing. Talk about a backfire. I haven't seen something blow up in someone's face this badly since the last time Trump tried to use hairspray in a windstorm. And while our commander-in-tweet was busy trying to come up with new insults, probably with the help of a thesaurus and a lot of Diet Coke, something interesting was happening. More and more people were hitting the streets, decked out in those red cloaks. It's like Trump's tweets were a call to arms, except instead of arms, people were grabbing red bed sheets. The public reaction to this Twitter tussle was more mixed than Trump's feelings about vegetables. Some folks were outraged at Trump's personal attacks, while others found the whole thing hilarious. It's like we're living in two different America, one where this is a serious political debate, and another where it's just the best reality TV show ever. Well, folks, it looks like Alyssa Milano's red cloak packs more punch than Trump's red hat. Who would have thought a fashion statement could cause such a ruckus? But here we are, watching celebs like Milano turn Twitter into a political battleground. And you know what? It's working. People are talking, debating, and actually getting off their couches to do something. Turns out, when stars speak up, we listen. Milano's tweets and protests are like a megaphone for issues that might otherwise get lost in the noise. It's like she's saying, hey America, wake up and smell the democracy. And boy, are people waking up. So what's next on the agenda? A red cloak versus red hat fashion showdown at the polling booth? Who knows? But one thing's for sure. This Twitter tussle has got everyone fired up. Democracy, 1. Apathy, 0. Stay tuned, folks. This show's far from over.